left off was a thick fog had rolled in and it had begun to snow on the ocean, which for where we were in the time of year, it was a very strange thing for snow to be happening in this area.
Hmm. And then we had sort of gone through this giant fog bank and eventually saw a spire of rocks in the distance and realized we were at an island, and we believed this to be Waves, the island of Waves' birth, the island where Wave was forged. We start heading towards the island, and there's a huge door on up on the cliffs in the middle of the island, if I'm remembering right.
Yes, but I want to clarify one thing here, which is the reason why we are here. So we've been seeking the place of Wave's birth. We actually had to make a choice at the time that we rescued the Warforged from the last shipwreck. We were of two minds on the ship. Either we have three minds. I'll go through all of them. One mind was we need to go rescue the Warforged now. We need to go tackle the fleet and save the Warforged from this persecution and get smoke work out of there. Number two was we should go back to Roden. There's problems on Roden. Not many people, I think, were vocalizing for that right now at this moment. And then there was Wave is a very, very powerful tool, very, very powerful friend weapon. And I don't know. Wave has some things going on. It seems worth it to check out that, and maybe stuff will happen.
And we were so sorry. We were so hurting for information about what was going on with these things that I think that was a big part of it. We were like, something is happening here that we don't really understand, and maybe it is the answer to these other things. Because we had seen, or Oren had gotten the vision of like the fleet wrecking us. So we were really hankering for something to be like, this is going to help you solve the fleet problem, the Roden problem, something.
Yeah, I remember us interpreting Oren's visions and hunches that were seemingly divinely driven as these are guidance for how to address the problems that we are dealing with, and we should go do that. So we decided. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I remembered that there was also a conflict with the Warforged officers at this point. Scrapper, Mirage, and Tara came to us at this point because we had just, rescued the Warforged and heard what was happening in the fleet, and they were like, that was a huge part of the what are we doing right now? Why are we not heading straight towards the fleet to stop what's happening there? And I think Oren stepped in to kind of be like, we do care very much about this. We are going to do that. But also, we are one ship and the situation is very bad. And we think maybe there is something at this island that can help us save the Warforged and get a leg up.
We also talked a little bit with them about like that there is a war going on, the Warforged are being enslaved, but we think it's because of this bigger global issue that we need to fix. And if we save the Warforged and the world ends, well, then we didn't really save the Warforged. And we think going to this place is going to give us the tools to like save the world and save the Warforged, and everyone can be happy. Best best laid plans and all that, but yeah.
100% what's going to happen in this session. Don't even get it twisted.
So that was why that combined with talking to Yingrid, who was possessing Winter Storm again and told us that beautiful story, beautiful tragic story. We and Oren's hunches driven through Wave's intuition, we drove towards this island that was felt to be Wave's origin place. And then we had that snow come in, as was mentioned, and then we see this big mountain, as Scan mentioned.
One last little thing in there is we spent some time in the fog. So the fog was thick enough that we actually couldn't really see where we were going. We were using Mirage to kind of like, the direction that we're supposed to be headed. And we were using that to navigate. And I kind of fucked us here a little bit. And I I don't like to think about what might have happened if I hadn't made this decision to dick around, but it's already done. And but we had to make rolls um, to see how good we were doing at getting the ship moving forward and making our way without like getting lost or going in a circle. And AJ rolled like a 23, like a 19, and got like some ungodly number because your modifiers were huge. And I had an ability that like would have given him advantage or given him a plus something. I think we were trying to get you up to a 30. You were like 27, and I was like, maybe we can, if you roll that extra d4, we can get you up to a 30. And Sato or Yuhung was like, "Hey, I don't have a huge modifier in this. Can I get some help?" And I'm like, "It'll be fine. I want to see if we can." Like, it was all happening at once, but amongst all of it, what happened is AJ got a very high roll, didn't actually get to 30, not that it matters, and Sato got below whatever the DC was, and so we lost some time in the fog because Oren thought it would be funny to make Vayne super powerful.
Honestly, that's very much an Oren thing. Like I think that, right?
Yeah. So that remember as things happen that we could have gotten there a few hours earlier, and kicked things off a few hours earlier.
This was also a harsh moment of reality for Dailu, who had been starting to really feel the sailor life in a lot of it, like, and feel like she was, had a vibe with the crew. And
now that Vayne was no longer sick.
Yeah. And she was like, cool, I'm jazzed, I'm on it. Oren had also promoted Dailu to shanty singer in addition to regular crew. I don't remember if we mentioned that last time, but she had like a responsibility that wasn't just like run around and do stuff. And I remember her role here was intimidation to get the crew to do the right thing, and she absolutely flubbed it. And I feel like that was a moment for Dailu being like, oh my god, I have so much to learn about being a sailor and giving people orders.
And giving people shit.
Yeah.
I'm curious where this extra time is going to come in. So you got to point that out even to me, because I'm like, wait, what happened?
I will do it very soon here.
Yeah.
Because we pull up, we see through the fog. Finally, it cuts through a spire of rocks and a large cove. We start heading in, and we see at the far end of the cove is a large set of doors. And as we pull in,
ice doors.
Yeah, ice doors. As we pull in, a giant, huge white dragon bursts out from those ice doors.
Oh, really quick. When Devin says when we pull in, what was happening was we got in a little boat off of our big boat, and we started moving that little boat closer to the shore.
Oh, right, yeah.
The cove was not large enough for us to pull the full ship into, so we stopped on the outside and started making a very slow journey. And as soon as we had gotten into a little boat and very dangerously away from the ship, the giant white dragon burst out and attacked us.
I remember this being one of those moments where Jared was like, tell me exactly in what way you are getting to shore.
Yeah.
And all in one boat? Okay.
Asking for a friend, yeah. And I remember I remember, so that was one of the two things I was going to mention, which is we were like taking inventory, I remember, before we went in, and mostly just because it's going to matter later, is I think Dailu at this point had the manta ray cloak or whatever. So Dailu could swim. So we were like, okay, we're going to put Dailu in the boat, but if anything goes wrong, Dailu can swim. And then same kind of thing with Thane. Thane had, I think it's a ring of water walking. So if anything went wrong, okay, it's fine. He can walk on water.
Oh, actually, yeah, I was going to really quickly mention, I don't think we discussed leveling up, but this was a level up. And it was somewhat significant for Dailu in that this was where I codified the fact that she had become Frost Daggers' lifeguard and gave her a level in fighter with the mariner background. So she now has a swim speed and a climb speed, but she still has the cloak of the mana ray.
Fighting style?
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay. Every time you said background, I've been like, wow. And now it makes way more sense.
Great background.
Yeah. And the second thing I was going to mention, and this is just because I missed the session before now, there was no talk ever about a dragon, right? That was completely
No.
Left
didn't.
field.
Just making sure.
Looking
only-
back now, weird snow around an island was our hint that like cold
Sure.
weather is here that shouldn't be. But yeah, otherwise no.
Yep.
There was
The-
a lair
the-
situation.
The only other recent time dragons had come up, it was in Yingrid's story that she told as one of the factions that the giants fought against and prayed to potentially afterwards.
Gotcha.
Um,
All right. So yeah, we have this ice dragon that flies at us when we're on this tiny little boat going to shore. Like, oh god, what do you do? And I think it's just like ice breath flyby attacking us, basically.
I feel like before it got to us and had a chance to breath attack, we had a chance to scatter.
I think
I
I don't
know-
think we did though.
I think as
think
it did
some
its
of us
first
did.
attack, we had a chance.
Dyler
so?
jumped out of the boat. I remember Dyler jumped out of the boat and dove.
And I think Thane also used his ring to walk on water. That's why I kind of mentioned those things, is because that happened during the fight.
That's right. 'Cause
Yeah,
you went back to
I
the
didn't
boat.
think.
Well, let me tell the story. Jeez, but AJ
Yeah,
said
yeah.
something.
Yeah, I just remember the way I remember it. I don't think Thing had to try to evade the cold breath.
Okay, so yeah, fine. I'll just tell the story. And again, keep player knowledge and character knowledge different. I forget exactly how, but Thane took quite a bit of damage from one of these flyby attacks. Probably this first cold breath, I'm gonna guess.
Gotcha.
I assume I was still in the boat. I don't remember exactly. Thane's flaw is that he will I forget how it's exactly worded, but basically he'll run to save his own hide. He'll hate himself for it, but he will do that. So Thane is like, I'm getting the hell out of here, even though he doesn't say that to everyone, and he runs back to the boat. On the way, he has a good idea of, hey, let's use the big boat to shoot its big things at the dragon. And so again, in character, none of you knew he was scared. He was terrified. That ended up being a good thing, but he just wanted to get out of there.
It was a good idea.
Yeah, it was a great idea. So yeah, I start ballisting the dragon from the boat. And I remember that did some good damage. Oh, here, yeah. Actually, it was mangonel. I crit the dragon with the mangonel.
Right.
Did 10d10 damage right there.
Yeah. Just before that, though, I guess the dragon speaked and called this Izarbaz's lair. So presumably the dragon's name Izarbaz. Oh, sorry,
Yep.
Izarbazi.
I think it was Izarbaz, and then we kept calling it Izzy.
Okay. Whatever. But anyway, yeah. So after it got wrecked with the mangonel, it started to fly away. But then we saw another large ship enter the cove, and it was the witch's curse.
I just want to mention a couple of things
Oh, go
from
ahead.
that fight. First of all, I think Vayne gets cold breathed twice and fails the save twice, which he's actually good at that, and it made me very sad. Then also the dragon got brambled but was released by some flumps that were summoned by Orin's wild magic, which is what allowed it to fly away.
Was that this fight?
That was this fight.
Oh
yeah.
my god. Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, 'cause I had Dimension Doored up on top of it, or like I had Dimension Doored right next to it to try and cast a spell, and then when I cast that spell, the flumps appeared all around it.
Yeah, so to clarify for other people, Vayne has this awesome ability that makes things stop moving, or like take lots of
Slow
damage
down and hurt, yeah.
try to move, which would have been awesome for this flying dragon that keeps, I forget the, like, line attacking, whatever the word is for it. And that would have been awesome. And then Devin teleports, gets a random roll on his wild magic that causes basically harmless creatures to appear. But they start detangling the dragon so that it is now free to fly wherever the hell it wants.
And Vayne kills one of the flumps there, or sends it back. I don't think that's ever going to be important, but I'm noting it just in case it ever
You
becomes
say it's not going to be. It'll be like the next story arc. Just wait.
Yeah.
All right, those are my I think particularly important notes. Other than the fact that we are beat up after this.
We got wrecked.
Yeah. It hit everyone multiple times and did near catastrophic amounts of damage. But then the dragon flies away, so that's all good.
This is the part where I don't
Oh, no.
know.
We lost
If our-
Scout.
Sorry, go ahead, Devin, while Scout gets back.
This is the part where I don't know if this was because I don't want to because we're going to be talking about what happens. I don't want to reveal it now, but I don't know if Vero appearing was a plot point of like Vero's going to appear. Vero's ship is going to pull in when you get to the cove, or if we could have had a few hours before Vero pulled in.
Oh,
Before the witch's curse came back.
My assumption that this was going to happen for one reason or another, I think both narratively and plot wise, they both make sense for it to arrive once we approach the landing point here.
Yeah,
Like I think it was going to happen here regardless of whether we had more time or not.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what my gut says. But at the time, I was very much like, "Fuck." we
could have had time.
3 hours caused them to catch up with us.
So Scout was saying something. Scout, you can go ahead. You DC'd, but you're good.
I was just saying the pirates, our good buddies, the pirates showed up. Did we already say the thing about why they followed us?
Nope. Go ahead. We're waiting for you.
So they show up, and Vero comes aboard, and there was something here about we tried to message Vero, or read her mind or something, and couldn't. And Naramani, her first mate, told us that Vero did not like that we read her mind before and had guarded against this in some way. And we didn't press on that perhaps as hard as we probably should have. So she had said that Vero came aboard and said that she had followed us thinking that we were going to treasure. And we were like, well, maybe Dragon Lair. And it was a little bit menacing between us. And she was like, we're going to come with you and get some treasure. And we agreed, okay, we'll split it 60-40 and we get first dibs because we're going to put our lives on the line here.
Yeah, and we were like, please, God, help us fight the dragon.
yeah.
Vane was not. Vane was very upset.
Dyla was like,
oh.
Vane's like, why are we trusting these pirates? watch our ship in the bay alone, practically. And then we're going to go in. Yeah.
And the pirates, so all of the pirates actually stayed behind except for Vero. Vero came with us, and so did Tara, our bosun, up to this like cave mountain temple thing with the giant ice doors. And this was like these are big doors. This was like giant sized doors functionally, almost like they were for giants. And the stairs leading up to these doors were also giant. They were like, I think they were like 10 or 15 feet tall each step.
We had to climb them.
Yes. So we were scrambling up. This is where it becomes great that Dilo has just gained a climb speed. Dilo is nimbly jumping all over these. We go up these stairs, and we're partway up and we haven't rested at this point. We basically just chased the dragon right in there.
Yeah, we're trying to rush the dragon down before it has a chance to recover.
Yeah. So we're halfway up, and we get attacked by some. Are they carrion crawlers?
They were never named as to what they were, but I believe they were carrion crawlers.
Yeah, big, nasty bugs. And the two. I'm just looking at AJ. The most important thing that happened in this fight was that Vane got overwhelmed and had like a bunch of.
I want to set the scene a little bit here because the abilities of the carrion crawler are important for this fight, which is if they hit you and if you fail to save, you become paralyzed. Being paralyzed means you don't do anything. They get advantage to hit you, and if they hit you, they crit you. So big damage, big danger. Getting outnumbered by carrion crawlers, very bad. I think they all have multiple attacks as well. I remember Vinaya got paralyzed in this fight, and it was very scary. Vane also got paralyzed in this fight. I think prior to what we are about to describe. If I remember correctly, it might have been after.
And also important to mention at this point, Dailu actually got out of the dragon encounter not unscathed, but way less damaged than almost anybody else. Dailu was at like 80% HP. She was fine, and none of her abilities require short or long rests. So she was just like, "Cool, let's go."
That's the day we learned that Dailu is a tank.
Yes.
And Vinaya, I think, had used a whole lot of spellcasting juice to heal us up at this
Oh
point.
boy, I had used so much. I was 100. I think maybe I'd had like 1 first level spell slot and 5 hit points worth of lay on hands left.
That's the day we
I was
learned
like, yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Scout. Now the scene is set.
So yeah, Vayne, I believe, had 3 carrion crawlers on him. And people start going to help Vayne, one of whom is Vuero. Vayne does not want to be helped by a pirate, because that would make him indebted to a pirate in some ways. And so goes, Dailu needs help. Dailu is fighting like one of them and doing fine, and has taken no damage in this fight so far. And Vuero turns around and says something like cool and vaguely flirty. Like, I think she said, Dailu, you look like your dance card's a little full. I think that was it. Dailu turns beet red, and also looks at Vayne like she is going to personally pull all his skin off and goes like, I do not need help. Do not say this in front of Vuero. I'm fine. I'm a tank. I'm doing fine. How dare you? How dare you, sir? Which is funny because Vayne, of course.
Yes, Vayne, of course, was like, well, I don't like pirates. But Dailu likes pirates. Dailu will appreciate spending some time with a pirate fighting this carrion crawler. And thus, that was why Dailu was the candidate for assistance, not because of actual assistance required.
It's the tragedy of Dailu and Vayne's relationship. They cannot be nice to each other without taking it the wrong way. So we got through this encounter. We made it, but it was rough. Like this pulled off a lot of hit points that we couldn't really afford to not have.
Yeah, and again, had not rest.
Yeah, and yeah, at this point, I think Vinaya had to use basically all the juice except for the tiniest amount of juice to just make sure that we weren't going to instantly drop when we fought the dragon again. But it was super dire. We make it to the top of the stairs, and there's a huge main room here, and there are 5 statues surrounding this room with the faces smashed in. We interpret this as these are the 5 gods who did not help the giants in their time of need. This is very much like a defiled temple kind of a vibe. And our big friend Izarbaz is curled up inside like the hands of one of the statues. Very big hands. And it taunts us, and I remember like the wings unfurling, and then the session ends.
Oh,
And
importantly,
Well-
it looked more or less fine.
Yes,
Right.
it had now healed, and we were so weak.
Yeah. So at this point, this is 2020. That was our last session in person.
Yeah.
We did not play for 3 months. And I don't know about anybody else. I spent those months desperately trying to think of a strategy that was not going to involve our first session remote being all of us dying.
Me too.
I spent my time. I was like, okay, well, firstly, I need to be prepared for Vayne to die. Okay, cool. Then I need to figure out what's the most dramatic way that he's gonna die, like most efficient death he can have. That's also like super dramatic. And even if everything goes great, he has to be ready for Vuero to betray and kill Orin or someone at the moment that the dragon is dead. So what is he going to do with that? How is he going to be prepared for that?
Yep. I came up with a really elaborate strategy where we still had a bunch of the Liguin's drafts left. And Dailu was going to try to slip hers to Vinaya and be like, drink this. I'm going to talk to the dragon.
Have we mentioned
try to like... do what?
Have we mentioned what those do?
I think we did briefly when they first came up, but probably a refresher is good. It's basically a long rest that takes, once you drink it, it takes 5 or 10 minutes. We've said both of those numbers.
We
But,
have. I think most
Sorry.
recently we said 10. I
We most
think
recently said 10.
originally it was 5, but
You're gonna give it to Vinaya, you said?
Yeah, Dilo's going to try to hand it to Vinaya and then be like, "Oh, great dragon, I know you're about to eat us, but please tell us about your life story. You're a dragon. You must have had you've done you've seen a lot. Tell us your legend, oh great
Wait.
dragon."
I have to light us back for one thing really quick because it's just too good. So while we're on the boat, the first time this dragon is flying at us, Vane is very big on legends and myths. He spent
Oh,
most
shit.
of his
Oh,
life
yeah.
researching
Yeah.
these things and carefully getting a very dramatic understanding of who these things are, mythology. Dragons being one of the most important things for him to be very well versed in, so he's taken extra time on that. And he rolls a check to identify what this is, and he nat once. And he identifies as a giant flying white lizard that breathes ice. And so until this point, and still now, he is still not convinced that this is a dragon.
Never found any evidence to
That was
support
such a
that.
good. Just, oh man, we kept doing that. That was great. Anyway, sorry, lots of jokes there. It was awesome.
So, yeah, we wrap there and spend 3 months in terrible anxiety, for multiple reasons because it's 2020, but mainly the dragons. Sorry, dragon.
The dragon, yeah.
right.
Single.
There's only one, and I mean, maybe we can hit it with a mangonel again. Except now it's
Oh
in.
no.
I don't know.
It's a very aggressive, very angry dragon, but maybe it's also a dumb dragon that we could do something about.
Oh no, what's this note? Before we start this new session, 3 months later, a second dragon descends. We're at this point like, Jared, please. But
Yeah, Jared, you remember where
Right.
we and stuff?
Right. He had told us. I think he had told us he was going to do something to make us a little less likely to get killed.
Oh, he didn't tell
And
me that.
I don't think he told me.
Oh,
that either.
okay.
No,
He
I
had-
think he started the session being like, okay, I have a plan for how this is gonna go, and basically like trying to wean us into there's gonna be a thing that's happened, so just give me some time.
yeah. And I had talked to him beforehand to express that I was not emotionally capable of surviving a TPK in the current time and format. And
It's 2020. Yeah.
he kind of been like, okay, got it. So maybe I have inserted
remember
some
that
sort
too.
of disclaimer that didn't actually happen.
That's
I don't
fine.
know. Yeah.
So the first thing this dragon does is tell Izarbaz to save us for the game. She's also a white dragon and introduces herself as Validus, queen of this island. And that our final test here is to determine which of them will eat it. Wait, that's not a good test.
Our final test will determine which one of them gets to eat us.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And they give us 9 hours to prepare for the hunt, which is kind of them. They want us to be fresh, juicy, top of our game, ready to go. These are honorable dragons.
No scratches on the flesh. They want to penetrate it themselves.
Yeah. So, yeah. So we, along with Tara and Vuero, camp out in the middle of this defiled temple, very paranoid that the dragons are going to come eat us in the night, if I recall. We still set watch and everything, and we're like...
And the Vuero and Tara are still with us, yep.
Yep. And in the morning, when we wake up, we hear the creak of... Oh, there are large doors. There are more large doors.
Wait, is this the one of the night rest nights that talks happen? Or is that later?
No, that was later.
Okay, cool.
I'm pretty sure. So there were 2 large doors leading off of this room, again, like giant-sized doors. And in the morning, we hear these doors just creak open on their own. And beyond them, there is like a giant-sized library. The dragons, I believe, are not visible at this point, and it's just kind of like, cool, go in there and see what happens.
Yeah, we were searching for
And it was like, like huge shelves, lots of places where even a very large creature could make sure it was out of sight.
Paul at this point totally forgot that this was a giant's area. Whoops.
Yeah, there was a lot of like, if you wanted to get up on one of the shelves, that was again like a 10-foot climb. And pretty soon we the whole party gets in there, and then Izarbaz shows back up to Rick Shop. Except Izarbaz did not in fact Rick Shop.
No.
He's like, I'm here to be a bull in a china shop, and I'm the china shop. Oh no.
Yeah, we bullied Izarbaz. I see I have a note here. Thane gets his assassinate ability.
Yep.
Basically it gives me I have sneak attack, and then I auto crit, so yeah, it does tons of super damage right off the bat, like rogues do.
Yeah, this is also a terrifying moment for Dudley because Thane literally did run up and basically punch this dragon in the face.
I get punished for it. Hang on.
You did.
But then Sato stuns Izarbaz, stuns Izzy, and then Vayne, I think, finishes it off, shooting it in the eye from the other side of the shelves.
One dragon down.
Yep.
I remember this being amazing because the dragon had a high enough, I think it's a con save, had a high enough con score that I think a nat 1 was the only way it could have failed the save. And just this poor dragon, we were so scared of him, and then he went down like instantly.
We killed it, and I remember Jared just paused for a second and he just went, one round.
Guess
We were
who
very
also
scared of this
lasted like a single round? I can't remember exactly when Vinaya went down, but I went down fucking early in that fight and did exactly nothing.
I think also Izzy might have breath attacked us before we got to go.
Once.
And Vayne was in that breath attack again, and again failed the saving throw.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think he did hit. I think what happened was because Thane only gets his thing if he goes before them, before they get a turn. But Thane had to go, and then he like breath attacked a line of us all down this hallway. So we got hit again. That breath attack is so bad. Queenie. There's a note here just you've called Valid as Queenie, which is adorable.
Queenie Val.
Queenie Val, considering that she was a beast. So this is, we spent one turn, wrecked first dragon. We're like, oh, okay, not so bad. Frost Daggers, Frost Dragon, fine. Second dragon did not go so smooth. Second breath attack hits. Vinaya and Thane go down.
Vayne also in that cold breath also fails again. I am getting super frustrated by my inability to make cold breath saves at this point.
Yeah. There's a note here, then Vayne and Dailu, but this was actually a frighteningly drawn out fight, I remember. This was not this was a lot of rounds, and a lot of it was us hiding and trying to spread out so she couldn't hit all of us at once. I remember
Sato was doing a lot of peekaboo attacking.
Yeah, Orin was in his force cube, not being murdered. And Sato was flying away and hitting and flying away. And I remember there being a moment where both Vinaya and Thane went down, and Dailu first stabilized Vinaya. And I remember Tracy looking at me and being like, Your healer first? And I'm being like, I'm sorry. This is who Dailu is as a person.
Sorry, I think you said you first stabilized
Oh,
Vinaya, but you meant
so-
you
oh,
first
you-
Oh,
stabilized.
sorry. Yes, first
Yes.
Bane.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
actually, in that moment, very important thing to call out. Vuero grabbed Vane, who was down, and pulled him to the side.
Yes.
Right.
At that time, who had
Yeah.
not been stabilized.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so Vane went down, and then Dailu had a really horrifying, like, Jurassic Park sequence where she tried to engage the dragon, and then it, like, backed her into a shelf and, like, completely blocked it physically so she couldn't get out and was, like, snapping and biting at her. Dailu goes down. Vuero also pulls her out of the way. And then, yeah, this was great. Orin has been throwing stuff at the dragon. Just gets a wild magic surge, poisons Sato with the magic surge. And then Sato, because she is a beast, rolls 4 attacks with a minimum of 19 to hit.
When
And
Poison's
just,
giving her disadvantage.
yeah, and just crushes this dragon's face off.
It was ridiculous.
A hero.
So good, yeah.
My one note here is there was a weird moment where everybody stabilized and woke up because we'd been we'd gotten out of combat, but Vuero was next to Dailu when Dailu woke up, and Dailu actually came back as if magically healed, not as if she had just stabilized and like woken up. Like she felt as though someone had healed her. And Vuero did not say anything about it.
Aw, Where loves you.
Yeah, touching.
So nice
I
for a
remember that
pirate
was a little
show.
bit of the. There was a nod to that by Dailu, I think, of just like, oh, Vuero brought me back to life, huh? Like they used some magic to bring me back to life. Must be because Vuero
Yeah.
likes me.
Must be love.
Yeah.
Oh
Thanks, Vero.
dear.
I do want to note, just because it's amusing. So we had Dailu at this moment has the Giant's Bane title, and at this moment, Vane's like, "All right, Sato, you're Dragon's Slayer, Dragon's Bane," and Vinaya was like, "Well, hold on now."
Maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah, wait, yeah. 'cause
Maybe
Mariah's
not.
a dragonborn.
Yeah, I
Or-
also remember
see.
there was discussion of taking trophies from the
Oh,
dragons,
yes.
and Vinaya was
Oh
like,
yes, I was
"Can
way
we-"
more upset about the taking trophies than I
Oh,
was
yeah.
about the name. I was like, okay, the name is like insensitive, but whatever. But please don't mutilate the dead bodies of like the creatures from which I descend.
I
Like,
can overlook racism, but I draw the line at desecrating.
But we do step away from giving Sato that title, and Sato does not at this time desecrate any dragon
yeah,
corpses.
I think. Do we call her Foe Slayer? Is that what we did? Is that
There's
later?
there's a chat later on
Mhm.
that where she begins being referred to as Foe Slayer by Vane, at least.
Again, just calling attention to it. This is because Vane's all about building up your legend and that sort of thing.
Yep. And there's just one quote that I want to mention from when these dragons were alive, and talking down at us from their giant hand throne, when they were talking to Vinaya in Draconic.
Yes.
Mostly because the specific quote is actually used to kind of suss out something later in one of the Expanded Universe docs, which is that gosh, Microsoft Word.
It's all good.
It is around here. Why are the gods fools? Is something that Vinaya asked the dragons at one point when the dragons accused the gods of being fools. I don't remember what their answer was, but Vane
I
knew
have
the
this whole
answer.
conversation somewhere.
All right.
Let me try and is it in my fuck? Is it in my Dropbox? Is it? Where is it? Which part of my Dropbox is it in? Well, I don't know. Not that one.
Do you have it like video recorded, or you have it typed out?
No, I had written it because I think
Oh, nice.
I think it was I mean, I think Jared had sent us this in Discord actually. So
You're
what the fuck?
right, because it was in it was
Is
in
it not?
Draconic.
It's not
I
there.
think you're right.
Fuck.
There's also
Right, because it
one-
was just us who could understand it. The rest could. The rest of us. Bleh.
There's also one more important thing after you find that the dragons had some important last words that.
Yes, indeed.
Forgotten all of these things.
Let's see.
How'd you
Here
guys
we
remember
go. I've got it. And I'll paste it into the channel also. But let's see but their answer anyway. Let's see. I ask, what makes the gods fools? And Validus says in response, the fish might as well ask the Leviathan's teeth if they are hungry.
That's menacing.
Isn't it though?
That
Huh.
I completely
Alright.
forgot that. That has so many implications I want to talk about when we're not doing a
Uh-huh.
recap because it'll spoil things. But
Well,
please, everyone, remind me about that later.
Okay.
isn't that? I don't know if this is getting into it too much, but isn't that just them saying we're food? They're not gonna. Why should they tell us anything?
Maybe I've got ideas that just popped into my head, but I don't
Okay.
want to tangent off
Alright.
to feature things
Yeah.
like things that might in current story be relevant.
Tracy,
Get the-
you put it in the thing. Okay, sorry, go.
But the important things that I wanted to mention in that were just that why are the gods fools was a statement uttered in Draconic here where Vero was present, Vayne heard it, and the answer. And that was the only things I wanted to note here.
The last thing about the dragons too is as the queen or as Valdis, is that it? As Valdis dies, Validus dies, they give kind of one warning. Don't I forget exactly how it was worded, but it was don't go up, like don't ascend, without any
Don't ascend, I
explanation of
think
what
you're
that
right.
meant.
Yep.
And did we
And they
listen?
seemed sad and desperate. And, they also tried to kill us.
Yeah, I would never listen to someone that tried to eat me. I'm just saying.
Maybe you should revisit that.
So we search the large room for any sort of dragon horde. We find some gold and a potion.
Remember Guero being kind of like, this is not a lot of treasure, huh?
Yeah.
It was
Pretty
also-
antsy.
It was also one of the things that was pointed out was it was in a spot that neither the giants nor the dragons could have fit into. It was weird, like this isn't like a dragon. It was made clear like this isn't a dragon's horde. Like this is kind of in a crack in the wall that you guys can fit into normally, but like the scale of this place, it doesn't fit with that, and it was weird.
Oh, I've got a note here. The words that she said were "climb no higher."
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay.
Is this where Guero tried to like recruit Vayne, or is that later?
When we rest next.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Sato
I think
finds
Sato
finds a hidden door, and I think it was like in one of these little small areas that was clearly not the Dragon's Horde. We found a hidden door to a weird area that was like overlaid with magical darkness, and somebody cast detect magic on it, and it was like up a ladder, so we were immediately like, climb no higher.
It was a hole in the ceiling. Like the door led into another room that was empty with a hole in the ceiling that had darkness that kind of came right up to the edge.
Yeah, and when we cast or when we detected magic on it, it was like multiple or all schools of magic.
I believe it was conjuration, enchantment, and illusion.
Yeah, and it reminded people of the spell from Vanaya's book. I don't remember why. If that was just like the sense.
I also have noted it as a desecrated area. I don't know if that's important.
That really should have been a hint. That it reminded people from the spell of Vanaya. Anyway.
Desecrated. Wow, that makes less sense in retrospect. Actually, Why would it be desecrated?
That I don't remember. It was uncomfortable.
I don't know, but we were like, well, I'm sure it's fine.
Okay.
At this point, we were pretty drained, so we long rested in the room.
Yep. And at this point, Vuero's on watch. Or sorry, Vane has a watch in which two things happen. The first thing is that Vuero kind of approaches him and is like, "Hey, you seem like you're pretty competent, pretty great actually." How I can't remember exactly how this went, but it basically came off as Vuero was really kind of either morale boosting Vane or trying to recruit him or something. And Vane was like, "I don't want to talk to you about this. I'm going to stay here, and you're a pirate."
No pirates, please.
And he was very blunt, I recall, and did not really engage in conversation at that point, and probably came off as fairly hostile. And that conversation ended. And then Sato attempted to sneak out to get trophies.
Yeah.
And thankfully, because Vane is not very perceptive, rolled very poorly on sneaking out. And Vane very loudly started talking about how unsafe it would be for Sato to go out alone into the darkness by themselves into the night. And then Sato gave up very abruptly. To
At
return
normal
to-
Vane volume, so everybody
Yes.
was awake at the end of the
Yeah.
Yes.
Man.
Yep, that was Vane's watch. I don't think anything crazy. else
Nothing
happened.
happened that night.
We wake up, and that's when we started kind of looking at the whole. And for this next part, do we want to just kind of go around and everybody will tell their story for what happened?
Yes.
I think what might be nice first is to be like, okay, we to note that we all do go in basically, and then to say, and we come out, and this is kind of what everybody sees when we come out in that moment, and then backfill with the individual bits.
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you guys?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So like at this point we'd run out of ideas for how to like feel out this thing, and we were like, okay, I guess it's go time. We either go or we no go. And I think Orin decided definitely go and went first.
Yeah, I just went in.
With a rope.
Yeah.
And then the rope,
in the moment, yeah, it's just like limp.
yeah, it just cut and went limp down to the ground, and then everyone
After him. Oh, sorry.
Thane rushes after him, I think.
Titan rushes after Thane.
Vane, I think, rushes after everyone that has rushed out. I think Vinaya and Sato then also go up reluctantly, and we're unclear at this time as to who else comes up, if Tara or Vuero go up. Some time passes, question mark, as to how much.
Really fast, though. Well, one thing to point out is as we were doing this, Jared was having us drop out of chat. So like I went up and I dropped out of chat.
Yep.
And then everybody else went up. And so when we don't know what happened to Tara and Vuero, we also like weren't talking to each other at this point. Being our first digital game, he was using it to its full advantage.
Jared,
split us apart.
Jared appreciation moment. Jared RP'd a whole bunch of things with a whole bunch of different others at the same time over text chat, and it was an incredible, feat.
Yeah, it was the first digital session that we had done.
Yeah, I want to take that one step further. So Jared, for those of you that don't know, is like a lead game designer. His title's probably bigger than that now. I'm sorry, Jared, I got it wrong. But and this is something that you could only do over like Roll20 sort of a thing, because he's running like 6 or I don't know, maybe 4 different people all at the same time, all over text chat, which again you just couldn't do in person. I mean, you could, but it wouldn't be as easy. Anyway, it was great that this was. I mean, I'm sure he did it intentionally, but it was our first Roll20 thing, and he does this cool thing, and just I love it. It's great.
It was awesome.
Jared's amazing, and he's the best.
Yep.
So the output here that all the players become aware of afterwards is that they all went somewhere, and afterwards they came out in another place. And I think the last one to return was Vane. So I don't really have a great recollection of what happened with the rest of you guys before Vane showed up.
I think we all kind of showed up at the same time. Like we all came back in, and
Yeah.
we were standing on a platform and in the clouds. But we could hear the ocean below us, and it was clear that there were stairs that went down and stairs that went up. And
Right,
it was
that's
pretty
how
clear
we got
that if
there.
the stairs went down, it would take us back to some. We didn't know where, but we surmised like, okay, that's probably back away from whatever this is to the ship and back down to the ocean, and went up farther than we could see. I believe just into the clouds.
And
But
Tara's with us, but Wero is not.
yes.
So now we can rewind and
yeah.
go through the cool stories.
Who wants to go first?